Hitler did not invent anti-Semitism. It existed before him. But why did Hitler hate Jews so much? Historians identify several interconnected factors, political, ideological, economic, and personal, that fueled his obsession with Jewish persecution. And in this video, we will build you all the secrets of why Hitler hated Jews. Belief in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. One of Hitler's core beliefs was that Jews secretly controlled global politics, finance, and culture. This conspiracy theory, known as the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a fabricated text, claimed that Jews plotted to dominate the world. Hitler adopted this myth, arguing that Germany's post-war problems, struggles, hyperinflation, unemployment, and the Treaty of Versailles were orchestrated by Jewish bankers and politicians. In Mein Kampf, Hitler wrote extensively about an alleged Jewish plan to weaken Germany through democracy, communism, and capitalism. He blamed Jewish intellectuals for promoting pacifism and Marxism, which he saw as threats to German militarism. Additionally, he accused Jews of controlling the media and arts, corrupting pure Aryan culture. While these claims were baseless, they resonated with many Germans who sought a scapegoat for national humiliation. Historians note that such conspiracy theories were widespread in early 20th century Europe, but Hitler weaponized them with unprecedented brutality. His propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, reinforced this narrative, portraying Jews as an existential enemy. The Holocaust, therefore, was framed as a defensive measure against an imaginary global threat. Search for the guilty. Germany's surrender in 1918 and the subsequent Treaty of Versailles left the country economically devastated and humiliated. Hitler, a WWWI veteran, propagated the Dolchstoßlegende, stab-in-the-back myth, claiming that Jews and leftists had betrayed Germany by sabotaging the war effort. This pernicious theory alleged that the German army had not been defeated militarily on the battlefield, but had been betrayed by subversive elements on the home front, namely socialists, communists, pacifists, and centrally Jews. Hitler seized upon this myth with fanatical conviction, making it a cornerstone of his propaganda. He argued that Jewish intellectuals, politicians, and financiers had actively worked to undermine the war effort, foment revolution, like the German Revolution of 1918-19, which led to the rise of the Nazi Party, to the Kaiser's abdication and the establishment of the Weimar Republic, and ultimately orchestrated Germany's surrender and the acceptance of the shameful Versailles Treaty. For Hitler, who had served in World War I and been deeply affected by Germany's defeat, the stab in the back was a personal affront and a national disgrace that demanded vengeance. He saw the Weimar Republic itself, the democratic government established after the war, as a product of this betrayal, weakened and corrupted by Jewish influence. In reality, Germany lost due to military exhaustion, but Hitler exploited public anger by blaming Jewish politicians, bankers, and journalists. Prominent Jewish figures in the Weimar Republic, such as Walter Rathenau, were falsely accused of conspiring with foreign powers. This narrative allowed Hitler to position himself as Germany's savior, promising revenge against Jewish traitors. The hyperinflation of the early 1920s and the economic hardships of the Great Depression further fueled this scapegoating, with Nazi propaganda relentlessly blaming Jewish capital, or Jewish speculators, for the suffering of ordinary Germans. By casting Jews as the architects of Germany's humiliation and ongoing misery, Hitler could channel widespread anger, frustration, and nationalistic fervor, presenting himself and the Nazi Party as the saviors who would avenge the betrayal, purify the nation, and restore German greatness. The Versailles Treaty's war guilt clause, which blamed Germany for the war, was twisted by Hitler to further imply that if Jews had caused Germany's defeat in the subsequent unjust treaty, then they were the true enemies of the German people. Opposition to communism and linking Jews to Marxism. Hitler equated Jews with communism, citing Karl Marx's Jewish heritage and the role of Jewish revolutionaries in the 1917 Russian Revolution. He feared a similar communist uprising in Germany and accused Jews of orchestrating class warfare to destroy nationalism. The Nazis violently suppressed leftist groups, especially after the failed 1919 Bavarian Soviet Republic, led by Jewish socialists like Kurt Eisner. Hitler's hatred of communism was personal. He believed Jewish Marxists had caused his early poverty in Vienna. This paranoia led to the Night of the Long Knives, 1934, where Hitler purged socialist factions within his own party. Later, the Nazi-Soviet Pact, 1939, was a tactical move. But once Germany invaded the USSR in 1941, SS death squads, Einsatzgruppen, massacred Jewish communities under the pretext of fighting judeo-bolshevism, personal revenge. Some historians argue that Hitler's anti-Semitism stemmed from personal failures and psychological traits. In his youth, he was rejected by Vienna's art academy, where Jewish professors and critics thrived. He also resented Jewish success in business and culture, while he struggled as a penniless artist. Additionally, Hitler's fanatical worldview required an all-powerful enemy to justify his ambitions. His speeches exhibited paranoid delusions, portraying Jews as both weak and omnipotent, a contradiction typical of conspiracy theorists. Some scholars suggest his hatred was also performative, designed to rally followers through extreme rhetoric.